somebody here.
I guess we'll find out.
Oop. Actually, we had somebody, but they just left.
So how's your kitchen coming? I saw pictures of it. It looks like-
Oh, well, today's day 2.
This is day 2. Oh, okay.
But they ripped everything out. Everything, all of the drywall, the ceiling, the flooring, down to the studs.
Starting over.
Yeah. It's been a hell of a process.
You've got your dream kitchen holding up. Well, I'm just saying, let's, enjoy it at now. Don't worry about it. You're old and tired.
Well, hopefully it'll be done by first week of February, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't
And all members to actually represent their constituents. I think there's a framing, though, that we need to be careful not to accept. Kevin McCarthy and his allies want us to believe this. That McCarthy, because he has 90% of the caucus, the 10% shouldn't be allowed to stop him. That's a false framing. The correct framing is that Kevin McCarthy does not meet the threshold under the rules of the House of Representatives to become Speaker of the House. Yeah, right. He might have 205 votes, but it takes 218. And to suggest that somehow every member needs to fall in line because there's a party custom, a party rule that is not actually a rule of the House of Representatives, is suggesting that Donalds and others need to be held to the wrong standard. Kevin McCarthy,
you say speaks to it, which is a new way of process, and you have a vote, a second, third.
Yeah.
They've proven their side. They have their numbers, whether you like it or not. The repetition would seem to be more on him than otherwise. Again, it's their house. They can run it the way they want. Right now, they're running it into the ground, according to many. Before I lose you, we want to do lightning round. That means yes, no, or maybe. But you were a politician. Can you do that?
yeah, sure. Let's try.
Yes, no, or maybe. I don't know or you still have that politician blood in you, sir. All right. Yes, no, or maybe. Will Kevin McCarthy be Speaker?
No, absolutely not. And he might be out.
Yes, no, or
Sorry. No.
Okay. Yes, or maybe. Will there be a Speaker named by the end of the week? Maybe. And finally, yes, no, or maybe. You're winning. No. Hey, you're a man of your word. You kept it. 3 lightning rounds. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Art.
Congressman David Jolly, we appreciate it. I mentioned what's going on Fox News. It's a different kind of coverage, a mix of criticism, meltdown, and anger at what they're calling clown show Republicans. Jacob Madura's here. Stay with us.
My most important kitchen tool, my bread. So I choose Nariva Plus. Unlike some others, Nariva Plus is a multi.
Thank you.
No. Can everybody hear me on the Zoom? Now I can. Can you unmute yourselves? Everybody can unmute yourselves?
They're saying now.
Yep.
They're talking, but they're not unmuting themselves.
Can you folks unmute yourselves and talk? I can't hear you.
Can you hear us, Zach?
Maura?
Yeah?
I can hear you.
Yeah, this is Holly. I can hear you now.
Like Holly is on.
Yeah, Ray Moran, I can hear you now.
You guys, it's like that Verizon commercial from the 90s, remember?
Yeah. From the 90s? I thought that was last year.
Time does
You know,
fly.
it could be, it could be. There's
Time
really no
flies.
saying.
Wow, that make me feel old.
Test, 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 test.
Okay, perfect. I think yes. Okay. I think I heard a little beep, so maybe if people can try
Can
again.
you folks hear me on the Zoom? They can hear me. I
Yes,
can't hear.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, I hear you.
Zach.
Oh, geez Louise, everybody
Well
can
done.
hear me. I can hear you. Oh, boy.
Wonderful.
Hi, everybody. How we doing tonight?
Excellent. Thank you.
Great.
All right, so let's get the meeting started. Just a quick recap, everybody. Tonight is not a normal CANA business meeting. It's a working meeting tonight, a reorganizational meeting. Back in December, the decision was made to temporarily suspend our elections for 2023, 2024. In lieu of this meeting tonight, where we can start talking about reorganizing CANA. Having a different leadership structure and amending some of the bylaws. Now, is that Maura McNulty over there? Hi, Maura.
Hello.
So at the last meeting, the idea of moving towards a managing board or a governing board was brought up. Maura, can you talk a couple of minutes about how Melrose has a managing board and kind of how you handle, organizational duties and whatnot?
Okay, sure. So a few years ago, probably maybe 5 or 6 years ago, some people in the neighborhood came together around trees on Melrose. And at that point, MNA had been defunct for several years. We didn't even have a mailing list. And so, as that process sort of evolved, there sort of evolved a core group of people who decided that we wanted to re-energize MNA. And rather than, having elections and all this stuff, we just decided we would sort of work in a group by consensus and, deal with things as they came. The one thing we definitely needed, because there was money left over in the previous iteration of MNA, we did have some money left over. So we did need a treasurer, and that is me. And then one thing that we have decided is that we definitely need 2 people as treasurer. So that's something we're moving to sort of adjust. But in any case, up to this point, we've really mostly worked everything out through discussion and consensus. There's no hierarchy. We are just in the process of putting the finishing touches on our bylaws, which we'll be presenting at our next MNA meeting. And the bylaws really codify this sort of consensus structure. So once we get that version, as finalized as we can get it, we'll present it to the neighborhood and see how people feel about it. But we found that it really works really well. And sometimes, we found that if, a job needs to get done, one person can step up and do it as time permits. And then maybe a different job, somebody else steps up and does it depending on what's going on in their lives at that point. The one thing that we do consistently is we do have one person, we designed a welcome flyer, and one of the people on the board, is just basically keeps track of everybody new in the neighborhood and mails them a welcome flyer. And so those are some of the, the sort of more regular formalized things that we do. But other than that, it's kind of play it by ear, and we found that it works really well.
Great. All right. Thanks, Maura. Does anybody else have any comments on the idea of moving to like a managing board model? I know that the Buckingham Lake Neighborhood Association, they've also moved in that direction. It's been very successful for them as well. So at our last meeting, we did have a group of individuals that were interested in serving. I just wanted to pull up that list real quick. And let me just share my screen real quick. Can everybody see the list of candidates?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to take some attendance. Riley, you're here, right?
Yes.
I'm here. Now, Maura, you mentioned that Melrose is going to move to 2 treasurers. Was there a reason for that?
Only, like if I get hit by a bus,
Okay.
we have someone else. It's for the same reason. We also have 2 people. We have 2 versions of the email list, and 2 of us, with access to it for exactly the same reason.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to take attendance for the folks that, indicated that they are willing to serve. Is Andrew Harvey on the line? Huh?
I saw him.
Andrew Harvey, are you on?
I think he was traveling tonight.
Okay. Dan is here in person. Arlene? I think I
Yes.
saw Arlene.
I'm here.
Hi, Arlene.
Hi.
I saw Ray Moran.
I'm here.
Hi, Ray.
Good evening.
I don't think I saw Tabora. And we saw Rob Morton.
here too.
Here.
What's that? Folks, if you're not speaking, please mute yourselves. Okay. I don't think I saw Tabora. Rob Morton, are you here?
I'm here. Good evening.
Hey, Rob. Okay, so we got most of these folks here. Before we move on, is there anybody else either here on the Zoom or in person that would be interested in joining our new CANA board?
A second traffic stop police made in Indiana, pulling over Ryan Kohlberger and his dad during their 2,500-mile road trip to Pennsylvania.
Hello, how you doing? How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick, if I could.
Oh, he doesn't.
Zach, you might not be able to see, Michelle's got her hand up.
Oh, hold on. Oops. Michelle,
Yes,
hi.
I'd be interested in being involved in this format.
Strength is in numbers. Thank you, Michelle.
Yay.
Thank you so much. Anybody else willing to serve?
Kohlberger's dad trying to explain.
I had a question. I'm sorry, I don't know how to do the hand. How many people are you looking for to have on the board?
On that campus,
What
unrelated
question was that?
by Idaho murders.
Who asked the question? I'm sorry.
That was Helen. I'm sorry, I don't know how to do the
Oh, hey,
hand.
Helen. Hi, Helen.
How many people are you looking to have on the board?
Excellent question. We're going to talk about the bylaw amendments after I talk about some of the organizational duties that I jotted down that we have to address to keep Kano's, wheels moving. But the ideal amount will be probably around 10. About 10.
This is Glenisa.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Hey, it's Glenisa. I suggest you do an odd number for voting purposes.
Odd number?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Glenisa. All right.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else want to make it an odd number?
Well, that makes sense, because otherwise how are you going to break a tie?
Right.
But if not everybody's there, you might have an odd number.
But everybody should still get a vote, right? Even if they're not there.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know. That's probably part of the to be discussed.
Sure. Pat, you have your hand up?
Are you looking for individuals or you're looking for organizations?
I'm looking for individuals that would be willing to, just tackle a few items every month, just, things that we do here at CANA to just help out and lessen the load on just.
No,
one
I
person.
understand that part, but will that person will simply be representing themselves, or will they be representing their organization?
They should be from an organization or a neighborhood association. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Maura, you had your hand up?
Yes, Michelle, is your hand a legacy hand or are you, I don't want to. Oh, it's a legacy hand. Looks like.
Yeah, actually, no, I do have another question too.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Is this for like a 1-year term or to be decided, or 2 years, or?
Normally in the past, it's 2 years. And it seems like that's worked pretty well in the past.
Okay.
The 2-year terms, because,
Thank you.
I know neighborhood associations, a lot have 1-year terms, but I think just for CANA, it's always been a 2-year term. So I think that's something we would probably want to stick with.
Okay, thanks.
So I have a couple of thoughts. And this may be something that we want to talk through as we get into the bylaws, but the issue of, making major decisions and, that kind of thing has come up in our discussion of the M&A bylaws. And I know how much of a hippie this makes me sound, but I feel like there's a lot to be said for saying that for major decisions, maybe CANA shouldn't move ahead without a consensus. And so maybe having an even number is not a terrible idea because, we don't have to worry about breaking ties. So that's something I'm going to throw out. And I'm also going to suggest the possibility of having, sort of like a emeritus sort of a position. So maybe 10 people are formally serving, but maybe, someone like I'm looking at Vince Raguso and just thinking about his many decades of wisdom and experience. And, maybe Vince doesn't want to serve for a 2-year term, but maybe he could just be sort of an emeritus member just so that we can take advantage of his incredible knowledge base. But Vince, without saddling you with too much responsibility. So just throwing those 2 things out for the sake of discussion.
That's good. That's good. So as far as the number, so we don't, most of what we do is by consensus here. There usually isn't really like a tie-breaking moment. So, I mean, I think keeping it at an even 10 shouldn't be an issue. So, and we have 10, so that's a good start. That's a really good start. All right.
And Zach,
Yep.
Andrew joined, so he is here now.
Yes, I marked him
Okay, I didn't know if you
as
did.
here. Thank you very much. Okay, so good. And so everybody that's on the list everybody's willing to serve once we have elections? Everybody wants to be involved? Great. Good. All right, just one thing I want to go over quick that I put together. Now, I'm not looking for anybody to sign up for duties tonight, but I just wanted to show you kind of what I put together so far. I started this little spreadsheet here. It has, this left column has whatever task, frequency being like, how often do we have to, handle these items? And I kind of thought it would be good to have a responsible primary person and a responsible backup person for tasks, with some exceptions. Like this first one, as far as monitoring our email account, responding to requests for information, I think more than 2 people should be on that task, just to make sure we're being responsive to people that want information from us. I'm just going to go down the list real quick, just so everybody kind of gets an idea of things that need to still happen, okay? The second one is sending outgoing emails to CANA members with items such as meeting agendas, minutes, YouTube recordings, important notices, okay? Overseeing the CANA meetings, introducing guests, new business items, announcing the next meeting and speakers. These top 3, I think, definitely are ripe for more than 2 people being involved in those items. We do have the CANA Facebook page, which we have to update from time to time and post our monthly meeting agendas and other events that we share. We do have to keep the CANA website updated. I know in the past we talked about creating a new one. That's definitely something we want to revisit eventually once we're back up and running fully. Taking attendance at our meetings, recording the monthly meeting minutes. That's definitely something I think more than 2 people should sign up for. Once meeting minutes are done, you got to have them proofread. So definitely should have a couple of folks on that. We have to accept our dues payments and deposit them at the Capcom Federal Credit Union. And once neighborhood associations pay their dues, we have to keep a record of all of those payments on a spreadsheet. So yeah, I agree, Maura. Maybe 2 treasurers is probably the best way to go. So I'm definitely gonna definitely think that's a good way to go. We have to prepare monthly meeting agendas. We have to invite speakers, usually a couple of months in advance. We have to send reminders to those speakers that when the meeting is coming up, just to make sure they're prepared. We also have to thank them afterwards. These are just once a month things, so a couple of people could jump on those. One thing we do is we do post our meeting agendas to the Nextdoor neighborhood app every month. We also have to keep our master email list updated. Sometimes people will ask to be removed because they're, they don't want so many emails, and other times people want to be added. So we have to keep track of the emails. Setting up the monthly hybrid meetings at the library via Zoom. Probably guess who wants to do that. We have to monthly confirm with the library that the auditorium is available and ready for us. Each year we have to update the dues application for the neighborhood associations and the individual membership applications. We have to keep the master list of neighborhood associations updated. We have to, at times we're invited to present to different neighborhood associations to talk about CANA. Fortunately, we do have a PowerPoint that I created that can be used and always improved. And we also have always had a long-standing history of working in conjunction with the League of Women Voters of Albany County and other partnering organizations for Meet the Candidates. So again, this is just an idea of some of the tasks that are associated with keeping CANA running. You don't have to sign up tonight. Once we have elections and amend the bylaws, then I think we'll have another meeting, probably mid-month, and talk about who wants to tackle some of these tasks. And I'll explain in detail how you're doing. Any questions on the spreadsheet?
I have a couple
Go ahead.
quick ones. One is, just to make sure I'm clearly understanding, the concept is the 10 or so people that end up serving on the managing board are going to take responsibility for those tasks on the spreadsheet.
Right, not all of them.
But
We're gonna have so once we amend the bylaws, vote on the bylaws, vote on everybody to be the new board, then we can start, we have another meeting with just the board and start going through each item and see who wants to work on which task. And some tasks are more time consuming than others. But I think if we really think about, not saddling one person with too many things, it's going to work out great for everybody. And as long as you're doing your part, theoretically, everything should run pretty smooth. Obviously we're going to have some bumps in the road. It's, change is never easy. But I think it makes a lot of sense for the future of CANA to do this. And you got another question, Maura? Or
yeah, well, two quick things. One is, oh my God, that spreadsheet is like unbelievable, Zach. Thank you so much. That's so unbelievably clarifying. But the other thing is, at some point, and we don't need to talk about it now, but I have to wonder, I can't really see on the screen how many people are actually physically present at the meeting, and those who are heroic, because I know it's a lot to get out there.
there's five here.
There's how many?
There's five.
So you guys are heroes, but I also think that I wonder whether I think we need to do, I just want to raise the question for discussion at some point of, do we want to do hybrid meetings, or does it make sense to just do them on Zoom?
So if you
we don't need to talk about it now, I'm just throwing it out.
So the bylaw amendments, there is an item that I am going to address that focuses on that specifically. So we can definitely talk about it then.
Prematurely moving boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify something here. So we're not going to have officers anymore. We're going to have the boards move more tasks that the officers do.
Yes. Yes. Well, a lot of those tasks were things that, as chairs always did. And it's a whole lot of work. I did it for 2 years. It's a lot of work. I think if we have more hands on deck, we're going to be in a better state. And I think we're going to be able to do more things in the next coming years. So it's a smart way to do it.
Zach, could you send out a copy of those of that spreadsheet?
Yeah. Everything we're going to go over tonight, I'm going to send out after the meeting with a copy with a recording of the meeting and the items that I'm going over tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Familiarize with them. Yeah, so I would have sent everything out before the meeting, but I was getting everything to go and today wrapping everything up. So All right. But yeah, again, no pressure to sign up for any of those tasks. We're gonna go through the process. I'll probably tweak the spreadsheet a little bit more as I think about other tasks that I haven't thought about this last week. And then we'll go from there with that separate meeting and divvying everything up. Good. All right, so let's talk about how we need to amend the bylaws, all right? Okay, let me just share my screen, everybody. Okay. Everybody can see the bylaw memorandum we put together?
Yes.
Everybody can see it? Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
All right, so item number 1, we're moving towards a new leadership structure. So we've been calling it a managing board. Some organizations call it a governing board or the governance board. Does anybody have any other name for their governing body, or are we happy with the managing board, the management board?
I like management board.
Somebody close that door, please. Sorry, everybody, give us a second. We have a very rowdy group in the library. Okay, somebody said management board?
Zach,
Yeah, yes.
what is the source bylaws that we're working away from?
I can't hear you, Pat. What was that?
What is the source bylaws that we're going to be working away from? What are the current bylaws?
Sure.
Which copy is the current one?
Can you see this? Can you see the bylaws?
Yeah, I think Pat is asking about the original bylaws.
Yeah, these are the most recent ones that we have to have. They
We
were
just
amended back in April.
Zach,
we
what
only
we're-
see-
Where are they? Where would I find them?
I think on the CANA site,
On the CANA, well, there are a number of old CANA sites and
not the Google group site.
yeah.
The Google group site. But Pat, don't worry. I'm gonna send out, after we discuss the amendments, we'll be sending out, marked up copy of the amendments too. But yeah, the bylaws were amended back in April, because we did add the role of treasurer, as I recall, and we just did some other amendments. But this is the recent copy of the bylaws. But the reason why I did that memorandum, Pat, is I wanted to just hit on a few things that's gonna help with the amendments, okay?
Yeah,
So, how many board members? Everybody seems okay with 10? Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay, we're confirmed at 10. Go ahead, Esther. Oh, she needs the mic.
Do we want to give a specific number? I mean, would we say like up to 10?
I mean,
Is the idea that if somebody says they can't be on the board anymore, we need to replace them?
ideally, I think 10 is a good number. Usually organizations have a range of no less than,
Well,
five.
this is what I'm saying, maybe we should have a range instead of saying.
Yeah, like between-
8 to 10 or 8 to 12 or.
You think 8 to 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I guess I'm thinking if somebody says, I can't do it.
Well, I definitely think 5 is too small of a number for all the tasks that we have to tackle. So you think 8 to 10 as a goal?
That's what I'm proposing.
Okay. Anybody else? Maura?
I would say, looking at that spreadsheet, And hearing you say there might be some things you haven't put on it yet because they haven't occurred to you, makes me feel like 10 to me feels like a minimum number. That is a lot. Many tasks.
So you think we should have a goal of 10?
I think we should aim for 10 for sure,
Okay,
as a floor.
I think 10 is good. Okay, good. So we did discuss that there is a requirement based on, our account, our bank account. We do need to have a treasurer identified. I definitely think we should have 2 folks that have treasurer duties. So does that sound good? We have 2 folks with as board members, but with treasurer responsibilities.
Agreed.
Zach, could you put the memorandum back up?
This is up. Yep, it's up.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh.
You're not sharing your screen, Zach.
Sorry. All right. Can you see it now?
Yep, thank you.
And folks, if you're not talking, please mute yourselves. It's very noisy tonight.
Hey, Andrew Harvey, you're making a lot of noise, buddy.
We're good. Okay. Okay. All right. So management board confirmed at 10, 2 treasurers. And again, Maura brought up a good point about, do we want to do in person? Do we want to do hybrid? Do we want to return to a virtual environment? 100%. Anybody have any comments on that?
Hybrid definitely works.
Hybrid, yeah. Anybody else? Maura?
Maybe I am just like scarred from teaching through the pandemic, but I feel like I'm, I am all in favor of in-person meetings and I'm all in favor of Zoom meetings. I feel like hybrid is a huge amount of work, as witnessed by you right now. And
Yes.
it takes forever to set it up and everything. And I just question the return on investment, as they say, if it's really worth the work, frankly, of doing, having it be hybrid.
I would definitely say that the trend I'm seeing with attendance in person versus folks that tune in on Zoom, it's about, 80% Zoom and 20% in person. Yes, as far as extra work for me, hybrid is more work, because I do have to get here, usually after a very busy work day, with ample time to have the library staff open the room, make sure the room is not in complete disarray, which it has been a couple of times. I've had to put the room back together. And there's been, as you saw tonight, technical difficulties with the use of the equipment here. So as far as I'm concerned, I am okay with 100% virtual going forward. Anybody else?
This is Holly, and I would agree on 100% virtual. I find that getting to the meeting and coming back, it just takes a lot of time out of your day. And if you're having these technical problems, it's a lot of angst.
Yes, and also everybody, don't forget, we don't have this room to 8:30 like we used to. It's 8 o'clock, but the library staff starts coming at the door quarter of saying, you guys got to wrap us up. So there's that component to this, which is, we've had hybrid meetings since September. My personal opinion is we've been rushed in instances to wrap things up by 8 o'clock. So when you're virtual, you don't have that pressure. So that's just another reason why I think 100% virtual is a good way to go. Riley, you had your hand up, or Riley, go ahead.
I can't find my raise hand function, but I'm gonna 3rd/4th, I guess, the virtual meetings.
Yes, okay. Joe, you got your hand up?
Yes, I do, but Pat had her real hand up before me.
Okay, thank you. Pat, let's go to Pat first, then Joe.
Oh, I'm easy. The only thing I would say, and I'm for the sake of convenience, I'm thinking, stay virtual till we get our act together with this new format. And then in the spring, go back in person. The advantage that you have when you're in person is that other people know you're there. It's very easy to get the Zoom link, have a conversation among ourselves, and it does make us less of a community presence than when we are annoying to the library, or people see us, or people see that something's going on. So I just cast that vote for other people than
How
the
do I-
people who have the Zoom link, knowing that we're here.
Okay, Joe?
So I definitely vote for having Zoom meetings. We do have the new variant of COVID, and I just want to give a cautionary tale. Thanksgiving, 13 people were at one of our family's houses. 6 people came down with COVID. One of them died from it. So it's probably better to stay with the Zoom meetings and not even meet in person. So I'm 100% behind Zoom until we get our act together with COVID.
Right. And you know, in
Jack?
May, I got COVID. And if we were in person, the meeting would have been canceled. But because we were virtual, we had the meeting. So, you know, again, and I agree, we have another variant coming. It's just, I think it's, you know, we stayed virtual so long for the health and safety of our members. But there really is, I think, a overarching benefit to having it virtual. Michelle?
Yeah, yes, I appreciate the extra interactions with in-person meetings, but, I think you'll get more people involved if it's virtual, just because people have different things going on, and, it's very easy sometimes it's more difficult to actually get out of the house and go downtown for that. So that's fine. But my other comment or question, I guess, is with this managing board, do you anticipate additional meetings each month? I
No.
guess. Okay.
I would expect maybe quarterly meetings. Maybe initially we may have a couple more meetings than we normally would, but
okay.
I think quarterly is a good goal until we're up and running and running on all 8 cylinders. Riley, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Pat's point is downtown, we've had a lot of luck connecting with residents through our social media pages where we run sponsored ads directed at Albany residents. And that is something that we could look into, allocating funds from CANA's budget to run ads on social media to reach more people and make sure that we're known in the community.
Thanks. Okay. Esther's got her hand up next.
So I have to say, I was pretty surprised by the attendance of the virtual meetings. It seems like it was right from the start, better than what we were doing in person. So I guess, that I'm showing my age, but one thing I've been thinking about that I was concerned about, because we did have the issue with the bombing at the beginning, so we've had to keep the link, my understanding is these are supposed to be like public meetings. Maybe I'm off base for that, but.
So, yeah, and I think keeping the way we've done things is the way we should keep doing them. Because I don't ever want to see something like that happen again.
Right. Yeah.
So security is very important to me.
Right.
And I think that's important. But don't forget, people can also see us on YouTube Live. They can also see us on Facebook.
I want to be sure that if we go to all virtual, that people can still come to the meetings or see the meetings,
Yes.
even if they don't get the link from someone.
They can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
one thing I was going to say about the hybrid meetings, because last once I came and we did have speakers. It's kind of unfortunate that we asked them to come to the meeting because there are so few of us in the room.
Right.
And I feel like that part was kind of unfair to them.
I'd have to
ask them
agree.
Present in person and then have
Right.
most attendance virtual.
Yeah. I mean, they could turn and see everybody on the screen, but I definitely understand what you're saying. You do want to have like a robust attendance one way or the other. I agree. Helen had her hand up.
Yeah, I would say, I think with Zoom, we're getting more participants. It seemed at the library, we often only have like 4, 5, 6 people, but it looks like with Zoom, we're consistently getting 20, 30 people. So I think we're getting better attendance. The other thought I had is, again, it's a lot of tasks and you've got 10 people. We have like a list of worker bees or some way of reaching out if there are people that want to be helpful, but may not want to be in the position of being on the board.
Sure. That's a great idea, actually. If we have something that pops up, like the primary person or the backup person in a given month can't do a task, we could put it out there for a volunteer for at least that month.
Mhm.
Just to make sure things do get done. Because that's what's really important is, to have assigned tasks and take ownership of them and see them through to completion. So I'm guessing, I guess maybe an informal vote on who wants to do fully 100% virtual, like a show of hands with your virtual hands.
Wait a minute.
Oh, we got one more comment. Go ahead. 1 second.
Like when video got again?
I don't, because it's up and down.
That us doing it virtually would be 100% virtually would be temporary, at least until things change. Because it really would be great if we could have a bunch of people in the room. I understand the problems with it, of course. The hybrid, of course, is too much work. The people are still afraid of the virus, and they've become accustomed to this not having to leave their houses. There's a lot of that, so I understand that, but perhaps we could have as part of this, leave the option open, then we can revisit this I think the suggestion was possibly, when the warm weather comes up.
Okay.
Then we might want to look at that, so maybe we could include that into the motion, that at least that for at least, I don't know, next 6 months or whatever. And we'll revisit it, maybe do it that way.
Maybe
Hey, Zach.
after the summer break.
Zach,
Yes, right.
I just want to point out that this is the first time I have heard Daniel Van Ripper speak when I couldn't hear him.
Really?
But also, I want to voice an opinion in favor of all virtual for Joe's reasons and the fact that you said 80% of the attendance is virtual. I think that 80% number says it all.
Okay. I think, should we, I guess, see, so I think Dan makes a good point. Maybe we stay virtual until after our summer break. And then rediscuss.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good, everybody?
Hey, Zach, this is Joe.
Yep.
Why not just put in the bylaws that you're gonna be virtual until the board sees fit to hold another vote to change?
Okay.
No timeline, just let the board make that decision at some date further down the road.
So I'm just, so as far as the bylaws go, they're pretty fixed once we amend them normally. I see you suggesting we may have to amend them again if we do go back to hybrid. Or do we even have to really address it in the bylaw amendments?
I don't see that you have to address it in the bylaws.
Right, just kind of work it out amongst ourselves.
Well, we could put it in the bylaws that we could do one or the other. And for now, we will do this, but it is something that we could revisit at any time and just put that in the bylaws. I don't see why that's
Okay,
too vague.
so we'll meet either hybrid or virtual.
Yeah, and we can, change our minds, but when we change our minds, we'll do it according to the vote or something.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right, I think that's good. Can we get a show of hands to just go back to virtual until at least rediscussing it for September?
Okay, go ahead, is this a yes vote?
Yes. Hands up, yes? Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, seems clear to go back to virtual for the next few months. All right? Sound good? Esther?
Are you gonna be able to come to virtual meetings though? I just asked her, are you gonna be able to run the virtual meeting still?
So,
We're changing over.
I will commit to always being the Zoom administrator, but as far as running the meetings, I think we should have several people involved with that. It's just so if something pops up on my end where I can't make a meeting, I can at least put the Zoom live and let it do its thing. So,
I know how to use Zoom, but, I think we need to make sure if we're going back to all virtual, we know who is gonna be still organizing the meetings and making sure that people can get on and all that.
yeah, no, that's totally doable. I'm pretty used to it at this point. Okay, so I think we're good with the bylaw items that we need to work on. So I have, I've amended bylaws, I've drafted bylaws. I don't think we need to go line by line tonight with our amendments. I think I'm pretty clear in the task at hand of how we need to amend it. So if everybody's okay, I can make the amendments and then circulate the draft. And if anybody has comments or suggestions, edits, then they can make them. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Good. I think that's pretty much it for our first reorganizational meeting. Does anybody else have any further comments or discussion?
Zach, I think Lisa had a question in the chat.
Oh, okay.
How do non-members attend?
I think you got to be more specific with your question there, Lisa.
Yes. How does someone who's interested, if they can't attend at the library, for instance, how do they get to participate in a meeting?
To be on the Zoom, Lisa?
Yes.
They have to email canaforalbany@gmail.com and directly. And then we can, if they want to be added to our listserv, then we can do that for them. That way they get the meeting minutes, the meeting agendas, the Zoom links.
Yeah. Because I think you want more people to be interested.
Right.
And I agree with the Zoom. I think it's a terrific amount of work for very few people to attend, but how do you make it accessible? That was the point that I wanted to make. Thank you.
Sure. Joe's got his hand up. Joe?
Hey, Zach, you're going to circulate the new bylaws tonight
Yes.
or during the week?
Probably within the next few days.
Okay, because I thought we were going to vote on the bylaws tonight, but I could be wrong.
I don't think we need to, Joe. It's not major revisions. We just have to maybe change the name of the executive committee to management board, and then just tackle the new role of the board members instead of officer positions.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Basically, the officer positions are going to get stricken through, and then we'll have the managing board, information.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right, Maura?
Zach, are you still planning on, essentially being the secretary? I can't remember what the original screen said.
So on the spreadsheet, that was one of those items where I suggested certainly more than 2 people should be on that. I would say at least 4, to take turns, because I think just doing the meeting minutes, it's a harder task because you have to really pay attention to what everybody's saying and you have to go back and revise them. So that's something where I don't think 1 or 2 people should only be assigned to that. That should be a few people on that.
Great. I agree. It is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, Maura. Yeah. Well,
I am taking notes tonight, though, Zach. I'll type them up for you.
Oh, Riley, perhaps we could have permanent flyers in the library community board saying that you wanted to join in and get involved. That's good. I will make a note of that suggestion, Riley, and I can reach out to Melanie Metzger, the assistant director here. Is anybody else with a question or a comment? Esther?
So I'd like to comment about maybe having like once a year, having an in-person gathering, maybe not necessarily a formal meeting, but at least a social gathering. So people have an opportunity to have an in-person.
So I know that CANA used to do a picnic in Washington Park. Does anybody remember those events? Were they successful, Dan?
Well, I wasn't around at the picnics, but we used to have these annual dinners and stuff, and everybody would gather, the speakers, the awards given, and there was kind of just it was allowed to stop. I never understood why, but those were always pretty successful. We also used to have a conference. This gentleman used to run here, and that was the Neighborhood Works. And those were, again, they were very successful. We used to get a lot of politicians showing up and stuff like that.
And there was the Love Thy Neighborhood conventions, right?
Right.
That's right. Which is definitely something I've mentioned in the past, and I think, let's try to get back up and running, and I think with enough people involved, that is certainly something we could look to do, is have an annual in-person event where we can network, share information among neighborhood associations, and really benefit from that event each year. It's good.
Something to look forward to.
Right. No, that's great. That's a good idea. Any other questions, folks? So hopefully, I'll work on the bylaw amendments. We'll send it out. People have suggestions, tweaking it, let me know. And then hopefully by the next meeting, we could formally adopt the bylaw amendments and have our vote, either in February or possibly in March. I would like to do it in February. Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
I'm kind of thinking, for the sake of consistency, should we just keep the normal CANA meeting time?
Yeah, I think it's February 1st is the next meeting date.
I think we should keep it consistent personally.
Right. So February 1st would be the next meeting where we can hopefully iron out the bylaw amendments, approve them, and represent our slate of candidates for the 2023-2024 term. And then after that, the new management board can meet, kind of divvy up some of the responsibilities. And obviously I'll have to be involved and guide people on, what each of those things, entails. Does that sound good?
Thank you, Zach.
And we do already have a couple of possible speakers coming up. Chief Hawkins, he indicated he may be coming in April or May, and the Albany City School District is going to be coming in either April or on May. But you know, based on how February goes, we could be back up and running in March. Does that sound good? With presenters, Albany Police Department updates, and back in business. Sound good?
Sounds good. Thanks,
Thank
Zach.
you, Zach.
Okay. All right, good meeting. Thanks, everybody, so much for your attendance, and we will see you February the 1st, 6:30, virtual. Okay?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.